Hello, my friends. Sleepy Reader here. I've got three DC comics, women superheroes. They've kicking butt nicely. Three comics I enjoyed, and so I thought I'd talk about them a little bit. Katana #1, I probably liked the least of the three, but I still enjoyed reading it. And it had art that I really enjoyed and coloring that I really enjoyed. It's sort of my favorite page. Where'd that go? There. You get a good sense of how cool this artist can be, Alex Sanchez, and how nice the coloring is, and how well it all fits together. Overall, Alex Sanchez brings a different flavor. It feels less like a superhero comic, and it has more of the feel of a kind of personal story, although he does do the action scenes well too. A little bit Vertigo-ish, I suppose, for lack of a better term. So I really enjoyed it. It gets a little weird occasionally in some of the close-ups of characters' faces, where it stops working for me. But other than that, I had no complaints about the artwork. I enjoyed it, and it works to make this a little more unique and feel like something different than things we've seen before. And I guess plot-wise, it's a bit different than things we've seen before in the sense that the plot feels a little random. Katana is trying to find out something about her sword, and she comes to San Francisco, to Japantown in San Francisco, and is looking for a woman with a tattoo that has information in the tattoo about her sword. Just seems a little weird, and I'm not fully convinced by it all, in a sense. And then she has a big fight with her main enemy, who just happens to be in San Francisco also, even though they're all from Japan. And she has a strange sex dream, and we learn a little bit about her past with her husband. So it just feels like little bits and pieces about Katana, and I can't see where it's going. I enjoyed it enough that I'll probably pick up the next issue or two before I decide whether to drop it or keep following it. I have a little bit of trepidation because the writer, Ann Nesenti, has a pretty bad reputation amongst other reviewers on YouTube for her work on Green Arrow and Catwoman. So we'll see. It was an interesting issue, intriguing, but a little bit of a head scratcher in terms of the plot. And the dialogue at times, or the writing at times, in the captions showing Katana's thoughts, or in the dialogue, can be a bit weird. Just a little off somehow. But I think Katana's a really cool character. I love her look. I love her mask. And I love the idea of the sword with the soul of her husband in it, and maybe it's a sword that steals other souls too, which is always a fun thing, which I think of as originating from Michael Moorcock's Elric with his sword Stormbringer. One oddity is, because I have some familiarity with Katana from the New 52's Birds of Prey. I read about 4 issues of that with her in it. And in her last issue with them, she quit, I thought because she wanted to stay in Japan while they were returning to America. And then here we immediately have her coming to America, and this is all from the pages of Justice League of America. So the reason she's getting her own book right now is to tie her in with the Justice League of America. But she's Japanese. And maybe, I haven't read Justice League of America yet. Maybe that will be explained why this Japanese woman would be working for the Justice League of America. And that implies to me that she's staying in America after all. Although I guess not Gotham, maybe. Maybe she's going to stay in San Francisco. So that's just all a little strange. This book feels like she just got her sword and she's still training to be a good fighter and stuff. but I had thought she was already kind of an established superhero from the little bit I gleaned out of Birds of Prey. Anyway, it's an issue worth checking out if you like the way that art looks that I showed you. And we'll see. Time will tell if it's really worth sticking with. Supergirl is a book during the New 52 that I've picked up a few times, thinking I might want to, add it to my regular books, but never being quite compelled to do so. And I just thought I'd pick up this issue, basically because I thought it might be fun to see a big knockout, drag-out fight between Supergirl and Wonder Woman. And it totally delivered. It's a great battle issue between these two very powerful female superheroes. The art's really good, and it just has the right tone of a big superhero battle. It's in the middle of the Hell on Earth continuity, but I was able to pick up enough of what was going on and enjoy it. I can't say I felt sucked into the Hell on Earth story, though. I don't feel like I have to continue reading it. So I think, in fact, I will wait till Hell on Earth is over and try another issue of Supergirl. It seems like this artist has gotten better, and it might be that the coloring is also really good again in this issue. It just really makes the art pop. Everything's clear. Everything's just really enjoyable to look at. And it adds to my feeling that DC is really doing female superheroes well and doing them justice. Of course, I don't know if women readers feel the same way. My only complaint about the art is how skinny he likes to draw everyone, and that kind of works on Supergirl because I think she's a teenager. But with Superman, he suddenly looks like a Superboy. He looks like a teenager too, because he's got that kind of scrawny look, like he hasn't filled out yet. But that's my only complaint, that this artist, who I think has been on Supergirl all along, seems to just keep getting better. So yeah, I'll definitely come back and check out Supergirl when Hell on Earth is over. And, if you like a big, fun superhero fight, this is good. This is good stuff. So then I'll move on to Wonder Woman, which was my favorite of all three, and it is kind of continuing the, I don't want to say soap opera story, but since maybe issue 13, Wonder Woman, which was my absolute favorite DC comic, has slipped a bit, and part of it is it's become more like a soap opera in the sense that we're just trickle out a little bit each issue, but not have a sense of a complete chapter or a complete little beat of the larger story arc. And this issue continued that, but was still it was a stronger issue because it was meaty. There was quite a lot going on, and a lot of characters getting good moments. And the art by Tony Akins was quite good. My only complaint really is about Orion, who is drawn by Tony Akins to look like kind of a gawky teenager with just this little bit of stubble on his chin, and this tiny head on the big body. And I didn't like the way he looked, and actually, as he's written so far in Wonder Woman, all the excitement over Orion reappearing in the DC Universe has gone away for me. He's kind of a not very there character, and in this issue he's mostly a source of a little bit of humor and an interesting form of transportation. There's actually a great scene where they use the boom tube or the boom tube technology, whatever it is, to boom into a bar where some of the other gods are hanging out. And the way the characters kind of hang out and are very true to the characters that they are, reminds me of moments in Sandman, where Sandman had the mixing of sort of mythological characters and regular human beings, and kind of gave them room to breathe as characters, and didn't always rush through things. And anyway, there's a bit of that feeling of the Neil Gaiman Sandman here for me. And I felt that on and off throughout this Wonder Woman run, but this issue particularly made me think of that. And there's some great moments with Ares and Hera and Strife and Wonder Woman herself, and then this nameless first child of Zeus, whose story has slowly been unfolding a few pages each issue, gets a little more play in this issue, and some very cool stuff where he ends up having a battle with not Neptune, Poseidon. I always get the Greek and the Roman names confused. So that's very good, and we get some good moments between Wonder Woman and Ares, god of war. And here you can really see, more of that battle with Poseidon. But after that, you can see how good the coloring is. This is my favorite page coloring-wise. But there's another issue where the coloring is very good and serves the story and the art extremely well, and it's really nice to look at. So for a moment, an issue or two ago, I thought, well, maybe Wonder Woman is going downhill. But now I just feel like it's kind of shifted gears a bit, and it's still a really good book, and I'm really glad to get it every month. It may be arguably even more suitable. It was already very much a written for the trades kind of book, and it may now be even more suitable for reading in a trade. But I highly enjoy it, highly recommend it. So, go out and read some DC comics about female superheroes. I don't think you'll be sorry. I'd love to hear other people's takes on what DC is doing with their female superheroes, and if anyone has any broader view on that. It's ironic that maybe my least favorite one is written by a woman, and they have DC, as far as I know right now, has 3 women writers, and I guess they've got them all on female characters, which doesn't seem right. There should be a mix both ways. Although I think that the woman, I don't know her name, the woman who writes Amethyst is going to be moving on to a non-female book soon. Or no, maybe she's going to be doing Birds of Prey. Anyway, it's an interesting thing because it makes sense for women to write books about women. However, it also seems like, just like if you were a black writer, you shouldn't just be writing about black characters. Because if you're a white male writer, you're going to be writing about all characters. So anyway, I don't have any deep thoughts on that, so I don't know where I'm going. But I really enjoyed these books. Talk to you guys later.